Hey, what's up, y'all? I just got done doing some stuff on my tank and thought it was looking pretty and create a quick video. There's my SAEs, which is my Siamese algae eaters. I think they know they're about to be on camera, so they came out and they're flossing their stuff. They're really just sitting there watching. Look. So I got 3 of those, and they do a really good job. I also got some cherry shrimp, which everybody knows it only takes a male and female to breed like 20. Well, if you don't know, that's what. So I have like 10 in here, 11 of them in here that are still alive. So they'll breed, and they're great algae eaters. I also have 2 micro swords, some Christmas moss right there in the middle, and see. The micro sword right here is already making a leaf. Oh. And that's going to get heavy enough, and what's going to happen is it's going to drop down into that substrate right there, and it's going to grow its own little leaf, and 2 more and 2 more, and eventually the whole bottom is going to be aquascaped and grass that thick. Over the course, I would say about a month, I would say about a whole year to have it totally grassed, but like 4 months it'll start looking very pretty. Those are the only 2 new additions. The wood, the 2 plants on the side, the red plant in the back, the other one in the back over here I've had before the rip down. And now that I move, this is what's taking shape right here, something new. Look at this guy hiding in the back right here, thinking he's not going to be seen. Even my little cartoon fish Bill right here came out to say hi. He's upside down now. He does a great job of eating all the algae too. Look at him, happy little dude. I also got a big one in the back over here. He's really shy, so we'll see if he wants to even become on camera. I don't know if you can see him back there, but he is there. It's right there. Yep. He only comes out at night. He doesn't hurt nobody. But he's got a crazy wandering eye, and he looks at you all funny, and he looks mean and wants to fight, but he's actually like an old crazy grandpa. And of course you got your neon tetras, which you gotta have some fish movement in the top, and they're pretty much the bottom of the food chain, so they won't even eat the cherry shrimp babies. But they look pretty, and everybody asks if they glow. Look at that. It's like I got a little battery inside of them. But what's making the plants glow and the fish grow are a 6700 watt and a 10,000 watt T5 bulb. The 67 watt is for the total plant spectrum, which I'm trying to aquascape, so it's very important. And the 10,000 is the full spectrum of the sun, all different little light spectrums in that one. And that is for the fish benefit and their colors and stuff. And you can see how good it's doing because all the cherry shrimp are actually very red or very transparent, which are like different, males and females, but they're very healthy looking. And all the plant, this one right here is Christmas Ross. It was pretty much dead when I put it in the tank about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago I'll say. And look at the green coming back already. So the green's going to overtake the deadness, and it's going to pretty much make a canopy over that rock right there, and it's going to create a great little shelter for the cherry shrimp and anything else. But that'll be nice, and it'll be nice green rock basically. So there's my hang on back 50-gallon. This is a 40-gallon breeder, by the way, and I always think when you get aquarium filter pumps or whatever, it should be way more than what the water is, but you got to be able to control the flow, okay? Because you don't want to just maintain, you want to be able to create a very clear aquascape right here. But we'll start with the hang on back. This one's strictly a filter floss, it's a toothbrush for my fish tank. There's no biological media in this one, and so it goes. Everything gets stuck on the pad right here, and the pad is for the cherry shrimp because the cherry shrimp will get sucked up in that and they'll break a leg, or if they get sucked through the holes, they'll live at the bottom of the hang-on back filter until you clean it. So like I learned that the hard way, So 5 will make it in there and 3 will make it out. And next week 5 will make it in and 3 will make it out. So that'll kill your cherry shrimp population. But if you go on Amazon, you get 3 of these for like $5 shipped to your door. I also have an aluminum one coming from China, but who knows when that'll come. So I'll show you when I get it. But that works great right now. So at the bottom of it, I have homemade filter floss, and then I have another homemade filter floss, so it's 2 pads sitting on top of each other. And then sitting on top of the pad is a carbon bag, and sitting on top of the carbon bag is Purigen, which is a must in any tank that's trying to polish their water, because it makes the water look very clear and transparent. And you might think your fish tank is already clear and transparent, but once you get Purigen, you're gonna think it's just unbelievable. It's crazy. And the great thing about Purigen is that you can recharge it, and basically how you recharge it is you stick it in bleach and some water and you let it sit overnight or 2, and then it'll become white again, and then you stick it in, like Prime or any dechlorinator for another day or 2, and it's a recharged bag. So I bought 2, so I always have 1 in here, and then I have 1 ready to be recharged, or already recharged. So in about a month, or when I think it's ready to be changed, I have a constant supply of Purigen coming out. And this is clear now, but like I said, it's only been going for about a month now. After the rip down and rebuild, the water will get even clearer. And I have an instant cycle because I have a canister filter, and that's next. That's why this is strictly a filter floss, because I already have a main filter, and it's a canister filter, and that's the output for it right there. And as you can see, it makes great water flow. It's an Echo Complete 80 gallon. And this is a 40-gallon tank, and I have an 80-gallon filter alone right there, canister filter. And you have it tilted up slightly, so it creates a little ripples in the water, and it disturbs the water, so you don't get no backup build or slime or whatever. And what was going on is when I had a spray bar attached to it, and I just had it spraying out, to this way. And I dose with XL and Flourish, and over a week or 2, you'll get like this very, very light film up top. And if you're anal like me, that's not going to work. So what you do is you go to Amazon and you buy, I think it's $10 or $11, attachable canister filter. It's Fluval or Tom, whichever brand you get. The skimmer's on top, and at the bottom, it's got an intake valve, just like you normally would have. So you pull it off your tube or whatever, and mine fits perfectly, the one I happen to have with my canister filter, but some people have thicker tubes and you would just get an adapter. And the way that works is, the top of this right here, if you turn it to the right, it gets stronger. If you turn it to the left, it gets weaker. And I have it at a perfect harmony where I think where the cherry shrimp and the tetras can just swim next to it and still get out of it if they need to. A few days ago, a cherry shrimp was stuck in it, and he pushed himself off of it and got away. But when I first got it, cherry shrimps were getting stuck on it, and they couldn't get off of it. So you have to play with this, you just can't stick it in, Part of the hobby is playing with your tank and making sure there's a harmony there. So now, that's the top of my water, okay? So then it goes up, so it can either enter there, or it can enter from the top, and it comes up, over, through the top, comes back down, up, over, and then out right here, and then to my tubes, okay? So once it makes it out of the filter right there, and then here's the bottom right here, and I'll explain this best as I can for y'all. But it comes out of the top right there, and just follow the light, and it comes down into my canister filter right here, okay? In my canister filter, it goes down the sides of the walls, okay? After it hits a sponge, which catches all the, the food, the stuff that comes in the skimmer, and it hits a sponge at the top right here. Once you mix through the sponge, it trickles down the side of the walls, and it comes up through the middle, okay? Because you notice both the things are on the top, so it has to come down the top and go back. It comes down the sides, comes through the middle right here and comes back up. Once it hits the first cartridge, there is micro balls, a whole bunch of them. The second cartridge is a whole bunch of micro balls. And the third cartridge I have over here, I have some type of carbon, I forgot, but it's a nice carbon, and it works for 6 months. And then below the carbon, just so this water doesn't spray all over it, is I have another filter pad that I made, okay, like a circle filter pad, and I cut it out. And on top of it, I have laying a carbon bag, not those carbon cutout pads that last a month, because you don't want to change them every month. So you just buy carbon, put it in a bag, and it'll last like 6 months. Realistically, like 4, okay? But that's still a long time. So anyway, so it comes up through the top, and it comes out right here, and it goes out, and it comes into my, what you call as your reactor right here, okay? Water gets pushed down right here, okay? And then theoretically it keeps getting pushed down and then out, okay? But we'll stop right here. What is this thing, okay? I have a CO2 bottle right here, okay? And on the CO2 bottle I have a regulator. And what the regulator does is it trickles out CO2 out this blue tube right here. So it comes up and over. And this is what you call a check valve, okay? Only air can travel one way through this thing, which is down, okay? So if some reason water would come up through this tube right here, it would stop right here. It wouldn't travel into my regulator and explode or break or whatever. Very cheap, very important, okay? So CO2 travels through the check valve, through here, into here, and it goes all the way to the bottom, which you see right here. See that right there? Okay. The way you change that right there, how much comes out, is the top of the, this little knob right here, okay? So you have to go get a CO2 checker, which is the easiest way. Blue is not enough CO2. Green is perfect. As you can see, my liquid's green. And yellow's too much and you're wasting your CO2, the one in the bottle. And if you're wasting it, you can either kill your fish or you're just wasting it and your plants aren't going to take that much. So you're spending money out of your pocket for no reason. Go spend $10, buy this. The solution will last you forever. And you refill that, I don't know, I'd say once every 2 months. Once you notice it starts changing colors or whatever, if it drops blue, check your stuff. Like I check it weekly, okay? So this is what I say for mine is perfectly green, is about 1 bubble a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe a little quicker than 1 second, okay? But the average on what you call these diffusers, which, the CO2 comes out of the bottle right here, and it goes into the tank, and you see a bunch of little bubbles. The reason I don't like those is because it causes a Coke bottle effect. I mean a Sprite bottle, like carbonation right there. And if you shake it, it looks like a fizzy tank, in other words. And I'm not with, soda water. So, and I've tried that. I had the little glass diffuser in the corner right here, and it was trickling up. And I had my little drop checker down here, and it was 2 or 3 bubbles a second to get this green. So for every 2 bubbles I was using then, I was wasting, basically. Out of every 3 bubbles I had a second, I was wasting 2. Just to get to the perfect CO2. See, because what would happen is it bubbles up, but it doesn't always dissolve. So it sits on the water, it's sitting on top, boom, it finally dissolves. That's wasted CO2. Well, you cannot waste the CO2 in this. It's impossible. You see it right there? Every time it reaches up, it's getting pushed back down through the filter pushing the water right there. So it's just going to bubble around until it's 100% dissolved into your aquarium water. And the way you can prove that is because you see all the bubbles right here. You see them all. Okay. See them right there? All in the middle. Okay. And you also don't want these balls right here bouncing around, because you don't want, like, when you're watching TV, a bunch of balls, like, floating around underneath your tank smacking against each other. So make them tight, okay? All that is more bile stuff right there. That's healthy bacteria in there, okay? So, the way you can prove that it's working the whole time is you got all that, and the bottom right here, where water's being sucked through, there's no bubbles. You see that? So it's 100% dissolved. So once it goes through that, it goes down my little tube, and it comes up, and this is what you call an inline heater right here, okay? Aquariums have heaters. You have to have a heater, because in the winter it gets cold, and your fish will die, blah, blah, blah. I live in Florida, it's not too much of a problem, but at winter time, it does get like 60 degrees, so if it's from 74, I have it set to right now, if it gets 60 degrees, my fish will get shocked and die, or the fish or whatever. So you need a heater. So instead of having a big heater laying on this back wall right here, which, a lot of people do, and it makes the tank look ugly, I don't want that. They sell an inline heater. So the water comes out my reactor right here, into my inline heater, gets heated, comes back out, and it goes out the top right there. Now if you put too many gadgets on your on your canister filter, it's going to get bogged down and then the output won't be too well. So you got to check that. Mine's actually perfect. Look at that. I mean, how much water do you want flowing out of that? I have both my outputs in the same place right there. You know, I have it right next to my hang-on back filter because over here it's very calm for them. You know, it's just a little water agitation. So I want very calm waters. As you can see, it's so calm that a shrimp swims around. I mean, a shrimp is swimming around. See that? Beautiful. There's the cartoon fish still there. So the point, so we want it to come out here. It's going to travel the water, the debris, whatever. It's going to come around. It's going to trickle. It's going to turn the corner right here, and as it turns the corner, it can either disperse to the top of the bottom and get sucked in through the bottom over here, right there. Or if it makes it get stuck in here, it'll get sucked into the top. If it makes it all the way around, it's going to keep traveling to the corner, to the corner, to the corner. Up higher is this intake, and I hope that it will suck it up. So in theory, I have a great circulation of my tank, and that is also what's helping it so much, okay? I also use I use these. I like to mix it up, which is very good. These are very nice. These tropical, they're little circle things. Prime is a must, okay? Every time you do a water change, you got to do it with prime. Flourish right here, okay? That's for your plants. You need to, just like you need to fertilize your yard out front, you need to fertilize your plants. I also have tabs, Flourish tabs, stuck in the bottom of the substrate that release, every night. And I also fertilize with Flourish, and I also have a big jug of XL down here, and of course the test kits for the water. You need to also make sure when you're doing fertilizers with this amount of fertilization, with the tabs, with the XL, with the prime, with the Flourish, you need to make sure that you don't have an outbreak of algae, because the algae eat on that too. So you have to have a balance. And I believe I have a balance right now because there's not really any algae in my tanks. There's some on the leaves, and that's unnecessary. You're never going to have a tank that's algae free, so this is where my algae chooses to grow. But on the wood, you can tell there's nothing. There's a little shrimp. He's just hanging out. He's looking for something to eat. Scraping up all the stuff off the wood that we can't see yet, so he's doing his job. But look, the rest of the wood, nothing. Oh. One last look at the tank real quick. And then also, this is the cabinet I made for it, because if you get a 40-gallon breeder, you're never going to have a cabinet that you're just going to walk into PetSmart and find one for that. So I made this one, very nice. I like this thing, and you open it up, and you got the doors right here, it's a little shelf. And then I got that one with my little scraper. I got my little needle of XL right here. That's the XL right here. Okay. Very nice. And I also got a pleco over here who likes to hide. He's usually in that rock. But he's like a crazy grandpa. He's very harmless, but he looks crazy. Look at him up here conquering the world. Two more back over there. There's another one hanging out upside down, I think, right here. So, that's it, guys. So that's the view from the living room right here. The further you get away, you don't see the little particles in the water. Like when you're up close, you can see the particles, okay? And over time, that'll go away, okay? It's just that my tank's only been up for a month now or whatever. And so that means, the mechanical stuff needs to do its job, and then my media bags need to do its job, and all that other stuff. But it's a great start.